Hey, welcome to Respawn Radio. This is going to be a new segment we're just trying out. It's going to be called Brew Time Chat, where me, Raphi, and
Paul
will be sat together. We're drinking our cup of teas, talking about just sort of random subjects.
Yeah, just sort of miscellaneous stuff that doesn't fit into one.
Any genre, really. It's just going to be like just stuff that's on the mind. This week it's been quite a big week. E3's been on.
E3 2018. Do you watch every year?
Recently I have, yeah. Ever since I got a PS4 with my own money. Right. And I became a lot more invested because I've started spending my own money that I've been earning.
Yeah.
So I watched it last year, watched it the year before, and I've watched it this year as well.
I probably only really bothered starting to look into it when Fallout 4 came out.
That's weird for me because you seemed like a really big gamer.
Yeah, but I'm not too fussed about all the pomp and hype. I prefer to just play a game.
Yeah, true. I can respect that. To be fair, hype on video games is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
All E3 is just sort of set pieces and segmented sort of trailers, and it doesn't actually show you anything. It tells you what's coming out, but look at the case with Ubisoft when they announced The Division a couple of years back.
Yeah, and it didn't come out for many years after.
Many years. Or you've got the case with Watch Dogs where they had a trailer and essentially it was just nothing like the actual game. They showed a game with significantly better graphics, and what they eventually released was shit. So whenever you watch something from E3, you do need to take it with a pinch of salt.
I don't mind. It depends on the game developer. You get a company like Bethesda. They say that, we're making a game, it's going to be out later on this year like they did with Fallout, and it was. You get a company like Square, and they say that Final Fantasy VII Remake's on the way, and then 3 years later we're still waiting for any kind of gameplay footage to show.
They've showed gameplay. They've essentially showed gameplay to be like Final Fantasy 15.
It's basically a reskin of that game, yeah.
Yeah, and did you hear the original rumor that was going to be episodic?
Yeah, like Hitman.
Yeah, are they keeping with that?
So you think about it, how would that even work anyway? Because it's like you've got a world map and everything.
You've got a world map. So it's obviously there's certain points in the game that can be split up.
I don't understand where they want to go with it into, why would they announce it so early? Because it's just going to be another Last Guardian.
Well, I think what they said was they weren't going to make it until they made a game that was just as successful as that, which is dumb.
But anyway, that was 3 years ago. Let's talk about this year's E3.
Right, yeah. So, did you watch anything or read anything about E3?
I tried to avoid it because it's done live, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all live.
So generally live stuff is a cringe fest. You never know if something's going to go horrendously wrong, like that one with the PlayStation Wonder Book. Do you remember that one?
That was lovely.
That was, fuck me.
So have you watched anything since? Or?
No, really. I've watched basically the trailers. I've seen some of the announcements. I guess I just find the conferences kind of boring.
Yeah, I can understand that. For me, I was invested to know what was going to come out, especially on the Switch, because that's a new console.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the Sony one, I watched the Microsoft one, and I watched the Ubisoft one, and I skipped out the Bethesda one, even though apparently that was quite good. Nothing really would stand out in this E3. There were a few games that look fabulous. Fabulous.
Yeah, but there's nothing I can't think... the only one that I would want to talk about was Bethesda's Elder Scrolls 6, and they didn't show any gameplay of it, so there's nothing really to note.
They announced that they were making a game which everyone knew they were making.
Yeah, obviously.
Although I was surprised it wasn't going to be another Skyrim on a poster or something.
Yeah, like a Skyrim expansion pack.
I think they did a little joke in there that said you can now play Skyrim in Skyrim on a Tamagotchi or something stupid. Because even they know at this point that's getting a bit out of hand.
At least they embrace the memes.
Exactly. There are a few standout games that I was really impressed by.
Like what?
So, did you ever play The Division?
Yeah. I like The Division quite a lot, actually.
So they're bringing out a second one. And it's still set in a city, but you can also go to a foresty area, and it's moved away from snow and been more
Okay.
So everything's more sort of green and lush. You remember how they made a big thing that you can shut car doors as you walk past them? Well, the new big thing is that you can trample on grass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So can't do that in many video games, can you?
So you got a few grass physics. The interesting thing to know is they're going to be bringing out a load of DLC with it, of course. All of it free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I bought a season... you know what? I think they did that because I bought a season pass for the first division. And not only was it delayed, but it was really badly received.
Yeah, the DLC wasn't great.
I think a lot of game companies have sort of taken a backlash, mate, to like DLC and stuff, and maybe sort of are changing their minds about how they do it, because since Star Wars Battlefront 2...
since EA kind of fucked everyone over.
And it basically was... what is it just in America, where it's basically decreed that loot boxes are technically gambling?
No, that was in... that was somewhere else, like Finland or Poland or somewhere... somewhere in Europe. What happened was, so with EA, they basically pushed it too far. Like, the industry's been pushing it a lot recently anyway, but they pushed it too far. Everything blew up. And then loads of different game companies saw the controversy that happened and started taking a step back.
Yeah.
Some haven't. Activision, for example, and Bungie and Destiny 2 were relishing in all of the controversies that they caused. But loads of other companies started to take a step back, including EA. But having said that, like I said, so Division, free DLC, probably will have microtransactions with vanity items and changing colours and shit, stuff that don't affect gameplay.
Right.
Battlefield, the new Battlefield game done by EA, free DLC.
What do you think about... Okay, so we're going to go on to some more games now. So they announced a new Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed, what's it called?
Spartacus.
No, it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Something like that.
I don't know what it's...
Something to do with Greece. I think it is Odyssey, actually.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you can be a male or a female assassin, which is cool. Mm-hmm. But it's set in ancient Greece.
Yeah, so I had a look at the gameplay. Looks nothing like an Assassin's Creed game. It looks like a new game, a new IP.
Oh, I was going for the fact that apparently there were no women soldiers in ancient Greece in Spartan times.
Fair enough. I mean, again, it's not the Assassin's Creed games are never like a faithful...
you
have people jumping from like 500-foot buildings into a barrel of hay.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Into a barrel of hay.
Yeah, into a barrel of hay. It does look good though. Does look good. I mean, I haven't played any Assassin's Creed since Black Flag.
Well, I haven't played any Assassin's Creed ever, other than my first attempt at playing the first game. And literally 5 minutes into it, I kept throwing myself off a wall because I couldn't figure out how to climb it, and then I rage quit. Never went back. Never felt bad about it.
I mean, you've missed out on some really good games.
Yeah, I know.
You've also missed out on some really shit games. There were some standout games as well that I want to mention. Do you ever play Dark Souls or Bloodborne or anything from Software?
No, but I know it's infamous for being a pretty fucking hard game.
Yep. I love those games. I'm one of those people that just like throwing myself at a brick wall until the brick wall breaks. Bringing out a new game, and it's called... Can't even remember what it's called, to be fair. It's got some Japanese name, and then it's called Shadows Die Twice. Can't remember the Japanese part of that.
Oh, so it's called something in Japanese, Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
I think it's like Sakiho or Sakio or something like that. Something that I'm never going to remember. I'm always just going to refer to it as Shadows Die Twice.
Right.
They showed very minimal gameplay, but they gave you enough to know what this sort of game's going to be like. And traditionally, From Software games are kind of slow-paced. A lot of it is reactive to what the enemy does. This seems a lot more active, where you actively go and attack, you actively dodge, counter, and do all that crap. And you have like a hook, and you've got like an arm that's made out of wood or something, like a bionic arm. Has like a rope in it and can turn into an axe and do all this shit. Looks really, really good. And then they've also announced Neo 2. You like Japanese games and making loads. There's Neo 2. So obviously that. There's another one that Sucker Punch are making, who did Infamous.
There's only a couple of Japanese games that I am actually interested in. There was this one called Jump Force.
Yep.
And it's a concept that's been done before. They did have a game out on the PS4, which is basically like an all-stars anime game for Shonen Jump characters. But this one, as far as I know, is the first sort of one that they've done that's got a Death Note character in it, which is fucking awesome, because we did a show about... Well, it's Ryuk and Light. Who knows if they're two separate characters?
How the fuck Light's going to go up against Goku?
Well, here's the thing. Is it Ryuk and Light like together? Like he's like an Esper just floating around him, and he like runs around and sort of Ryuk does the fighting bit for him? Or are they separate characters? I don't know.
Did Ryuk ever fight? He just kind of hovered about eating apples.
Yeah, no, but
well,
really,
I imagine because have you seen? I watched a bit more gameplay of it, and each character's got like a special move. So like Goku does like a massive spirit bomb, and fucking Naruto just wipes and turns into like a weird fox thing.
Oh yeah, the nine-tailed fox. You never watched Naruto?
I watched up to a certain point.
All right, well, it'll be the Nine-Tailed Fox Demon Spirit that's in him. And they didn't show Ichigo from Bleach. I'm guessing he's in it because he's a very Bleach isn't as popular these days, which is
it's still part of the big three, which is One
not
Piece,
as much
Bleach,
anymore.
and
That's why we've done
Naruto.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Naruto, which I think are
Well, Dragon Ball Z is back because of Super.
yeah.
One Piece has got like 1 billion chapters going on with it.
I'm just trying to think of who else would be in it. They probably have Attack on Titan.
Or it's anything showing, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's pretty cool because Death Note hasn't been in a video game since the Japan-only released Nintendo DS game that they did for it. So I was pretty happy to see that, and a lot of people were.
You know what I am happy about?
What?
Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, that's the other Japanese one I was going to mention. Except they look very.
It looks like DMC.
Yeah, they made them look very Western. Less like in Devil May Cry 4, they were kind of going that way, but they still kind of look like anime characters a little bit.
Yeah, here it's... You know why they've done that? You know how they've done that?
Why is that?
It's because the motion capture, so the actors, it's actually their faces now.
Is it still Johnny Young Bosch doing Nero? Because it didn't sound like him very much.
It is Johnny Young Bosch, yeah.
Well, it's either that, he was very low energy.
But bearing in mind, the guy's like 50 now or something.
50?
Well, maybe 40. He's old.
Let's go back to Bethesda. Because we missed out on a big one. We kind of briefed over Elder Scrolls 6, but the main one is Fallout
76.
76, yeah.
So
Fallout 76. What happened to the other 72 Fallout games?
No, it's set when the first vault opened.
Shouldn't it be Vault 1?
No, in 2076. Or 3076, or whatever the year is.
Oh, is that why it's called that? I thought it was called that because that's the name of the vault.
No, it's called that because that's what the year is, 76.
But it's also the name of the vault, right?
It's also the name of the vault, but I assume it's the name of the vault because of the year. No gameplay.
Well, yeah, that was a little bit, but it looked just like Fallout 4 if it were online.
Yeah,
It looks identical, the graphics and the engine.
What's happened is they made Skyrim, and they made Skyrim Online, and they made Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, God, please tell me it's not going to be another... Because they tried to trick you into thinking it was going to be Skyrim. It had, like, this, if on console at least, it had the same sort of layout, the menus, the way...
They said it's going to be full of story and all of that, but I think they're doing the same thing that they did with the Elder Scrolls, where they said...
Technically, that was full of story as well.
Yeah, that's what... I think
really
they're just
shit
making an online
quests.
game, yeah. Probably won't play it though. I played 4 and 4 was alright. It wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, no, I loved it at the time, but looking back on it,
it wasn't.
Fallout New Vegas was a masterpiece compared to it.
There is one thing I do want to talk about.
Okay.
Moving away from Bethesda for a second.
Go on.
Back to EA.
Okay.
They've announced a new game. Well, they haven't announced it. They announced it last year. Anthem. Don't know if you heard of it.
Anthem?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
So, have you heard of like Destiny?
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit like that. It's done by BioWare, who did Mass Effect.
Right.
And
another game series I've never played.
You need to play the Mass Effect series.
I know.
It's really piqued my curiosity. You have an Iron Man suit in it, and it's open world, and you can fly about, and you've got sort of turrets and rockets on you, and you play with your friends, and it's all co-op. You can play it single player, you can play it with your mates.
It sounds cool.
It looks fucking awesome. I'd highly recommend looking into that. They showed about an hour's worth of gameplay, where they showed like the opening level where you and your friends are flying through like a foresty area, and then you fly under the water, and there's monsters anywhere, and it's all third person, kind of like how the Mass Effect series was. It just looks absolutely tremendous. Definitely worth a watch.
Is it, I mean, I don't have a PlayStation anymore, so it better be on PC.
Might be coming to PC. I mean, if it's on the Xbox, it's coming on PC.
I was just looking down this list of upcoming games, and my God, they're doing a Battletoads remake.
Yep, they're doing Battletoads for the Xbox.
I couldn't see any gameplay, though, just an announcement.
There isn't any gameplay.
So how would that work? Will it be like a side-scroller like the old school one?
Might be, yeah, and I don't know if it's going to keep its difficulty or not. I mean, the whole reason why Battletoads was so hard because there wasn't much game of it.
Well, it's because it was buggy as fuck as well.
Well, that as well, yeah. Maybe it'll have be buggy as fuck when it comes out. I think every other game is.
There's another Tomb Raider game coming out, but it looks just like the other two, and I still haven't played either of them, and I'm not hyped to play it in the slightest, and I probably won't.
I have the second one on the PlayStation for about 2 years now, and I'm still yet to play it. Don't know if I ever will. There is also Unravel 2, My girlfriend loves Unravel. It's basically side-scroller. It does look good. This one's meant to be more co-op.
Is it? Yeah, I can see there's 2 Unravel people in this one. There's another FIFA game coming out. Who gives a fuck?
Fuck right off. They're making another FIFA game.
Yeah.
Jesus, I've been waiting for the sequel for never.
Yeah. I know a couple of years ago they did one that had a story mode, and it was like the first one that had a story mode. Did they keep up with that? I don't know if...
I've not played any FIFA games since 2009.
I've never played any FIFA games because I couldn't give a fuck about football.
That as well.
If we ever gain an audience, I've just alienated about half of them.
Have you though?
A lot of people like soccer.
Alright. A lot of people like football.
Sorry,
Not American.
Based on the amount of people per country, I'm guessing that most of our audience, if we ever get one, is going to be American.
Doesn't matter, they're wrong for calling it soccer when it's football. You're wrong.
You heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first. All Americans are wrong. Right. There are quite a few. There's loads of games coming out, to be fair. The Spider-Man. That looks fantastic.
I thought that game already came out.
No, it's
the
coming
PS4
out
one.
September.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I mean, that technically was at E3 last year, so does that count?
No, but they basically just showed like the definitive gameplay of it. It basically looks like the Arkham series, but Spider-Man, and it does look really good. And then, of course, they announced The Last of Us 2 as well.
Yeah, The Last of Us 2, but was that... Because they announced that a while back as well, but is this like a gameplay trailer?
Yeah, so they showed gameplay. They gave a little bit of story as well.
Okay.
Gameplay looks the same as the first one. It's primarily a stealth shooter.
Who's the main character in it?
Looks like it's Ellie.
Right, okay, that'd be cool.
I don't know if Joel's in it. There's a load of rumours that he is still in it and he's still around. There's just half the other rumours is he's dead.
He's probably going to die like right near the beginning of the game or something like that, and that's probably what's going to spur Ellie on to
do whatever,
like a revenge story,
which would be quite nice. But I like Joel. There's also Death Stranding as well.
Any gameplay footage yet? Because I like
yes and no. It kind of showed you gameplay, but I don't know if it was like in-game actual somebody walking around or whether it was like a cutscene. It looked like gameplay, but it could have been a cutscene. It's just some guy walking through like kind of like an empty area.
Well, the cutscenes that have been released so far, apparently I've read somewhere that those graphics for those cutscenes are the gameplay quality as well. So it could very well be.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you if it looks good. I have no idea what it's about.
Have you seen Resident Evil 2 remake?
Yep, they're remaking that. That looks fantastic.
But they've changed the way you play it. They've made it more like new Resident Evil.
Yeah,
instead
it's because
of
they're using that engine from the new Resident Evil.
Why? It takes away from what I've never liked ever since Resident Evil 4. I've never liked the gameplay of it.
Really? I loved 4.
Yeah, you might like it, and it is a fair enough fun game, but it's not like... They turned it to a survival shooter rather than a survival horror, where you've got to like...
Yeah, but 7 was a survival horror.
Yeah, no, but even with 7, it's like... I looked at 7 like it was... Resident Evil 7 to me looked just like what that new Silent Hill game was supposed to be, but since that didn't come out, maybe Capcom jumped in their grave and just took their idea, because it felt like... I never completed it yet. I did buy it on PS4 when it first came out. Never really bothered playing it because I got it for the VR. And it was shit me right up, but it just had a Silent Hill kind of feel rather than Resident Evil. I'm not sure how they're connected in any way. I know there are there's mentions of like Umbrella and stuff. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, the originals, their gameplay, the way you move as well, like it was very like original Silent Hill as well. Just like the way the camera operates and stuff, and the ambience and stuff, and it's just, I guess, Resident Evil 4 onwards just feels like every other shooter game ever. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was 4 that pretty much kick-started the whole over-the-shoulder shooting. Yeah.
That's actually, so every game that's come afterwards, every Resident Evil, that's basically like every
most other shooter games, even The Last of Us and stuff like that, it's kind of inspired by it, really.
Yeah, it's basically inspired pretty much every game after it.
God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, just that style of third person but uncomfortably close to the camera, and you can't get them further or you can't zoom out.
I do love God of War though. I do think that's a fantastic game. Anyway, it was a pretty bog standard E3. I mean, Xbox, everyone was cheering on Xbox because they announced loads of games that everyone wants to play, but the problem is that none of them are exclusive to Xbox, and the problem that Xbox have is that they don't have any exclusive games.
Is that a bad sign? I think for companies.
I think what they're doing is, because apparently the PlayStation is on its final leg,
What?
Yeah, they've announced they've started making PS4s now, and they've said it's in its final cycle.
What do you mean? Are they going to release a PS5 or
Yeah,
what?
so I'm thinking
Right.
the next couple of years, PS5 will come out, so undoubtedly the Xbox will come out around about the same time too.
Xbox One, 2.
Yeah, I mean they're naming this shit. So you had the Xbox, and you had the Xbox 360, then the Xbox One.
Then the Xbox One X,
Yeah,
a One S, and then One X. Sorry.
One X. Well, they remember the Xbox One X was just made it called Xbox One again.
At least with PlayStation, they've been consistent.
Yeah, we have a PlayStation. We have a PlayStation 2. We have a PlayStation 3. We got a PlayStation 4.
just to go back, I just remembered another new game that's coming out.
Oh, you tell me.
The Pokemon game for the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that wasn't announced at E3. It was announced a little bit before that.
Yeah, it's
a
Pokemon Go.
So it's Pokemon. It's the love child of Pokemon Go and your traditional Pokemon game.
Yeah.
So it's a console game, which is for a home console, which is great because I've always wanted a Pokemon game that's not on a handheld. Although it is.
They are making a dedicated Pokemon.
Is this not it?
No.
So I thought this was it.
No, this is a side game they're doing.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
They're also making.
But you've got characters. It's not. Yeah. So it's got an actual story.
It is a Pokemon game. It's like a side game they're doing. I think just to tide people over because I don't think this core Pokemon game is anywhere near being finished.
I really like the fact that you can connect Pokemon Go to it because since it kind of died out, Pokemon Go kind of failed to have a use, and now it gives you a reason to actually bother going out and playing it again. I spent so much fucking... This is embarrassing, mate. I spent at least £100 on downloadable content for that game just to find out a month later that I could buy a fake GPS and put myself on the Santa Monica Pier where there's like a bazillion Pokestops, walk around, just fill up my inventory with Pokeballs, potions, berries, get all the rarest Pokemon ever. So now I've got an account. I mean, they put a thing in to stop fake GPS is working now, but I've got an account now that's got like fucking tons of these Pokemon you can only get when you're in another country, which is great. And I was thinking, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? No one cares, no one plays it. But then they announced this game, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I finally have an excuse to get a Switch again.
I mean, you should buy a Switch anyway, but the issue with Pokemon is that's one of those games that either everyone will play or no one will play. And you don't really want to be that guy who walks around with his head down playing this Pokemon game. And then
not anymore. No. It was considered pretty cool at the time, but you see it now and people
go... It was great at the time. Everyone would just go out.
Yeah, but everyone's like, oh my God, he's playing Pokemon Go. Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, what a creep. So you didn't watch any of the conferences, so this next question is going to fail miserably. But what I was going to ask you is what was the standout and what was the... So what are you most looking forward to?
Elder Scrolls 6, because that's the one I know I will play. Shame they had nothing to show for it really than a trailer that had a really, really bad orchestra score of the Elder Scrolls theme. I hated it. The music in it sounded...
It was a remix of...
Oh, yeah, but it's basically the Skyrim theme is a remix of the Morrowind theme from Elder Scrolls 3, but just this version of that tune sounded awful.
Well, you remember when they announced Skyrim and they had that backing voice going around and it was like, here's Dovahkiin.
Yeah.
And that was epic. This
one just really... They might as well have just had a trombone going...
Yeah, over some mountains.
It was fucking terrible. It felt like it felt like a joke remix. It felt like a parody.
It's just annoying. I mean, they've got so much notoriety now over the fact that Skyrim was such a massive game that they don't really need to do any more than that. They could have just had a black screen and just said Elder Scrolls 6 and it would have had the same effect, to be fair.
The graphics designer probably just took Elder Scrolls 5 and just like photoshopped an eye at the end of it and just like, yeah, that'll do. Fuck
it. For me, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just want to play it now. I mean, I know it wasn't a new game. I was going to go for a new game, but it'd be like Division 2 or Neo 2 or something like that.
Honestly, I don't play games as much anymore. Do you want to wrap it up? Because we've been talking for nearly half an hour.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. Right, bye.